In business news today, Indian Oil Corporation Limited has recommended a final dividend of 7 rupees per share with a dividend yield of 4.74%. The record date for this will be intimated later. REC Limited has declared a final dividend of 5 rupees per share with a dividend yield of 3.55%. The record date will also be announced in due course. Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited is set to consider recommending a final dividend on the 9th of May with a dividend yield of 4.11%. JSW Energy Limited will discuss recommending a dividend on the 7th of May. Havells India Limited plans to recommend a final dividend of 6 rupees per share. Adani Total Gas Limited has recommended a dividend of 0.25 rupees per share with the record date set for the 14th of June. Cholamandalam Investment and Finance Company Limited is recommending a final dividend of 0.70 rupees per share. SRF Limited will consider dividend recommendations on the 7th of May. Tube Investments of India Limited will consider dividend recommendations on the 13th of May. IB Infrastructure Developers Limited will consider the declaration of its third interim dividend on the 7th of May. Exide Industries Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees per share with the book closure from the 23rd of July to the 29th of July. Sona BLW Precision Forgings Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1.53 rupees per share with the record date set for the 14th of June. Indraprastha Gas Limited will consider a dividend recommendation on the 7th of May. Apar Industries Limited plans to recommend a dividend on the 14th of May. Vedant Fashions Limited is recommending a dividend of 8.50 rupees per share. Mindspace Business Parks REIT will distribute 4.77 rupees per unit on the 9th of May. Piramal Enterprises Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 8th of May with a dividend yield of 3.35%. India Mart Intermesh Limited has recommended a final dividend of 20 rupees per share with the record date set for the 7th of June. Graphite India Limited will consider a dividend recommendation on the 7th of May. Newgen Software Technologies Limited has recommended a final dividend of 4 rupees per share. Granules India Limited will consider recommending a final dividend on the 15th of May. Route Mobile Limited will consider recommending a final dividend on the 6th of May. Gravitra India Limited has declared an interim dividend of 5.20 rupees per share with the record date set for the 14th of May. Symphony Limited has recommended a final dividend of 8 rupees per share with a dividend yield of 3.31%. Sangvi Movers Limited will consider a dividend recommendation on the 16th of May. Shilcha Technologies Limited has recommended a final dividend of 12.50 rupees per share. Neogen Chemicals Limited has recommended a final dividend of 2 rupees per share. TCI Express Limited may consider and recommend a final dividend on the 10th of May. Graves Cotton Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 8th of May. Delta Corp Limited will consider a dividend recommendation on the 7th of May. SF Small Finance Bank Limited will recommend a final dividend on the 8th of May. Filatex India Limited has recommended a final dividend of 0.20 rupees per share. RPG Life Sciences Limited has recommended an equity dividend of 16 rupees per share. ADF Foods Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 9th of May. Sascon Technologies Limited will consider a proposal for the recommendation of a final dividend on the 7th of May. Geojit Financial Services Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1.50 rupees per share with a record date set for the 1st of July. Adda Welding Limited has declared an interim dividend of 18.50 rupees per share payable on or before the 25th of May. Big Block Construction Limited will consider recommending a final dividend on the 7th of May. Capital Small Finance Bank Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend on the 9th of May. Saint Gobain Securite India Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 13th of May. Automobile Corporation of Goa Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 8th of May. Alsec Technologies Limited will consider recommending a final dividend on the 6th of May with a dividend yield of 3.92%. Dunsari Ventures Limited will consider a dividend on the 24th of May. Danora India Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees per share. Sutlej Textiles and Industries Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 9th of May. International Travel House Limited has declared a final dividend of 5 rupees per share with the record date to be announced. Orient Bell Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 7th of May. Stovak Industries Limited will consider an interim dividend on the 9th of May. ADC India Communications Limited will consider a dividend recommendation on the 29th of May. Adda Fontech Limited has declared an interim dividend of 6 rupees per share payable on or before the 25th of May with the record date set for the 17th of May. Cibatech Systems and Software Limited has recommended a dividend of 2 rupees per share with the record date to be intimated. Lakshmi Electrical Control Systems Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 23rd of May. Nath Biogenes India Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 8th of May. Pony Sugars Road Limited has announced a book closure for the payment of dividend from the 24th of May to the 5th of June. NDL Ventures Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1 rupees per share. India Gelatine and Chemicals Limited has recommended a final dividend of 1 rupees per share. Bombay Oxygen Investments Limited has recommended a dividend payment of 25 rupees per share on the 6th of August. Sycogen India Limited will consider recommending a dividend on the 15th of May. Standard Capital Markets Limited has declared a special dividend of 0.01 rupees per share with the record date set for the 10th of May. Mangal Credit and FinCorp Limited will recommend a final dividend on the 7th of May. BAL Pharma Limited will consider and recommend a dividend on the 28th of May. Walch and Pyapla First Limited will declare and recommend a dividend on the 9th of May. Trishakti Industries Limited will consider declaring a final dividend on the 9th of May. Swastik Safe Deposits and Investments Limited has recommended a dividend of 1 rupees per share. PVV Infra Limited will issue bonus shares in the ratio of 1:5. CIS Limited will consider and approve a stock split on the 21st of May. Worth Investment and Trading Company Limited will consider a stock split from 10 rupees to 1 rupees on the 25th of May with the record date to be fixed. Share India Securities Limited will consider and recommend a final dividend and a proposal for subdivision on the 9th of May. Clara Industries Limited will consider payment of dividend and a proposal for the issue of bonus shares on the 6th of May. Jupiter Wagons Limited will consider recommending a final dividend and raising of funds by various ways including rights issue on the 7th of May. Suraj Estate Developers Limited will recommend a dividend and consider raising funds by various ways including rights issue on the 7th of May. Axis Spintex Limited has approved a draft letter for a proposed rights issue. Vijay Finance Limited will consider various matters on rights issue on the 9th of May. Ganesh Holdings Limited has approved a rights issue and will decide on various terms on rights issue. Franklin Industries Limited will consider various matters on rights issue on the 7th of May. Thanks for watching. Please thumbs up if you like, subscribe, press the bell icon and never miss an update. Share and comment your thoughts on the comment section, and stay tuned with Corporate Actions India.